Hey, I'm Mia with Team Music Insider and Where Possible, and today I'm here with.
Ryan Stalvey.
Okay, so do you want to start off the interview by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am 17 years old, born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, down south. And I came out as transgender to publicly when I was 14 years old. I started testosterone about 6 months ago.
Wow, you're in Florida right now doing this interview. How do you feel about Hurricane Irma that's happening?
It actually hit historic flooding in my city. My entire downtown is flooded. I think I was the only person I know that hasn't lost power. My neighborhood was a little destroyed, not as bad as everyone else's. But there was definitely some branches fell down on different houses and stuff. It was crazy. A lot of my friends and I went out and helped rescue different animals that were stranded.
So, obviously, you're on the streets helping people clean up. How does that affect you emotionally?
Well, I grew up around here, so I feel like I'm giving back to my community, I guess. Something like that. I feel like it's the right thing to do.
Is there anything else about this experience that you'd want the world to know since you're living in it and everyone else is just seeing it from a screen?
Um, I know I was definitely joking about it a little bit online, but it affected a lot of people. People in my neighborhood, people around me, people that I know, family has been affected because half my family lives in Florida. Um, I just want people to know that it is serious, a lot more serious than we make it seem. Like I have school off for I think the next month because our schools are being used as shelters for people whose houses are flooded and things like that. So it's a lot more serious than just, oh yay, I don't have school for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that. What inspirational message do you want to give your Florida supporters?
Um, I guess just keep fighting and be unapologetically you. A little water ain't gonna stop us.
What's the hardest obstacle that you've had to overcome?
Family accepting me was definitely the biggest obstacle I've had to overcome. It got to the point where my dad left because he found out I was trans, and then I ended up moving out for 8 months because my mom just couldn't take, she just couldn't understand. And then I moved back in, obviously 8 months after that. And my mom finally came around in February 2017. So I had to live with her a little bit longer with her not accepting me. But
I'm so sorry that they didn't accept you at first. I'm so glad that they do now. And obviously, you have all these wonderful supporters who support you. And I know, like, I personally support you. So,
thank,
so
thank
how
you.
did that make you feel emotionally?
I felt like I didn't have anyone in my corner. That's kind of why I turned to social media. I started when I was moved out of my mom's house because I felt like if I didn't have anyone else, maybe people online would accept me. I didn't try to grow big. I just kind of made an Instagram account, made Musically because no one really knew who I was on there, and then I just started growing from there. And by the time I moved back in, I had a little handful of 20K on Instagram or like 50 on Musically, something around there. And I felt like, wow, I have the entire world behind me. And then my mom kind of started to understand from there, like, okay, not everyone's gonna hate you. Like it's possible for you to be safe because she didn't want me to transition because she thought that that would make me a target, but she didn't understand by not transitioning that was making me an even bigger target.
What tools did you use to overcome that stage in your life?
Um, a lot of daydreaming, I guess. That's all I did was sit and think about the future because I didn't think I'd have a future until I really started thinking about, what would happen if I did make it. If I lived to be 20 or like 40, just random stuff. It sounds small and dumb, but that's what got me through a lot of stuff.
At that time, did you ever think about suicide?
Yeah, I definitely I attempted in middle school, um, and I did self harm until October of 2016, like from like 12 years old to 16 years old, just because I didn't know what else to do.
That's a really long time. I'm so sorry to hear that you felt like that and that happened. However, it's amazing that you have overcome it and how strong you are today and how many supporters you have and just all of that.
Thank you. Yeah.
2016, what helped you stop self-harming and just made you stop altogether?
I think it was when I moved back in with my mom and my sister. I realized I had family behind me. I realized I had someone there for me. But I mean, obviously everyone on the internet, they were there for me. They didn't know everything that was going on. They just, knew what they saw on the screen. Um, Same thing now. I mean, I'm not going through what I was going through before, obviously, and I'm not going through anything troubling. But it's just that I guess my supporters and followers didn't know what was going on with me. They only knew who I portrayed on camera, and I guess I don't know. I guess just because I had family again.
That's the point of this campaign, to show your supporters that behind the screen, not everyone has the perfect life because no one has a perfect life. And as much as they might think that, we want them to know that their influencers do go through things and that if they can make it through it, so can they. What's one of the worst days that you've had in the past year?
In 2017 or just in a whole year?
A whole year.
Um, what is this? This is September. I wasn't allowed to see my sister for the 8 months that I didn't live with my mom. There was a restraining order. But on her birthday last year, which was September 26th, we lived close to each other. So there were about a few different buses that went to our schools from like a general neighborhood school that we would go to. And her middle school happened to be right across the street from my high school. So I got on her bus, and it was just so emotional because I hadn't spoken to her in 8 months. I'd seen her, didn't know what was going on in her life. So I think that was really hard because I felt like I wasn't going to see her again after that until she was 18. So I think it was very bittersweet. I got to see her for the first time in a very long time. It was definitely one of the hardest past year.
So, how did you get through that day? What kept you strong that day?
The fact that I would get to see her eventually, no matter if it was in a week or if it was in a few years.
Kept you strong in those 8 months?
I just daydreaming, just thinking about the future. What would happen if I made it?
Do you think crying would help or would make it worse?
I cried. I can't cry since starting T. I just can't. It happened like twice in the past 6 months. I used to be a huge cry. It never helped with anything, honestly. It wasn't me like getting emotion. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It just never helped me. It hasn't really made a difference with me.
So, what does the hashtag Teens Helping Teens really mean to you?
I guess it means I don't even know how to put that in words because the people who helped me back when I was going through everything was other teens. It was everyone who followed me. It was my supporters. They helped me get through more than they even know. And from what they've told me, I do the same for them. So I guess it's just we understand each other. I guess kids understand what other kids are going through.
What advice would you give your supporters if they're struggling with anything you've talked about today?
I always give them the same advice. It's be unapologetically you and just keep on dreaming. Because if you dream it, it's probably going to happen.
What has your supporters done for you in a way, in like an emotional way that no one has ever done before?
They've always been there. It's like if I feel like if it's 3 a.m. and I feel like there's nobody there, I get a notification from someone or a direct message from someone telling them them telling me how much they appreciate me and how much I've changed their lives. So I guess they're just always there no matter when or what's going on.